Hey everyone, I'm Jenny Cleary and I'm your transformational nutrition coach. And today I wanted to talk about cavities and how you get fillings for them and how your fillings could possibly fall out and you might have to get a root canal because of it. And so that's actually my situation that happened. So I wanted to share what happened just a few weeks ago and how thankfully I was able to solve it naturally, not spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And I just had to share this with someone because this might help you. So a little background story is 2 weeks ago, my tooth filling fell out while literally brushing my teeth. And I couldn't believe it at first. I thought it was just food. I was like playing with it and poking with it, hoping it would break. And it was just like food, but it was actually my tooth filling. And so once the shock went past me, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I didn't do the temporary tooth filling because I've read that you can actually rebuild your tooth and mineralize it by diet, and, I do eat a pretty healthy diet, but getting it more focused to help with my teeth, right? You got to know what your intention is for things, right? So I knew now with my nutrition, I definitely have to be focused with my intention for teeth health, right? And some of the things for that is definitely hugely, I've read a lot of places, vitamin A and vitamin D are huge for that. So I amped up I'm pretty good about going into the sun, but even more so, I supplemented even more so with my vitamin D K2. And then I also was making sure I was getting plenty of vitamin A as well. Watermelon has a lot of vitamin A in it, as well as mushrooms. And so I was eating a lot of mushrooms. And this is all plant-based stuff. If you do eat meat, you can do liver. It's really, really great for you. Anyways, so I was doing that, but also needed more help with that because I ended up getting an infection in the middle of this. And it hurt so much that I went to go see the dentist. It had its own throbbing heartbeat, and my tooth itself was in so much pain that I couldn't even touch the bottom of my tooth because anything that touched it was just so much in pain. And so when I went to go see the dentist, he was like, you need to see a specialist and you need a root canal. And I was like, wow, what's a root canal? I was like, I've always had cavities, but I just got fillings, but I never needed to do anything else. And this was the first time that I was getting recommended for a root canal. And he was like, oh, he's like, don't worry. Because, I just know that a lot of people go through pain with root canals, but I never really knew what it was. He was like, don't worry. We've gotten so much better with technology now, and they don't hurt as much anymore. So you don't have to worry about that. And I was like, okay, fine, but what are you guys doing? What is a root canal? Why do I need a root canal? And he was like, oh, well, we just rip out your nerves and we drill down and fill it up with all these chemicals, and then we cap it, and then you're all good. No more pain ever again. And I was like, okay, that sounds crazy. You're ripping out my nerves, but I'm in a lot of pain right now, so I'm kind of considering it right now, right? And so I was just like, what am I going to do? And so I was super tempted to really get the root canal done, but I'm also super tempted that I was like, look, I need to try to do it the holistic, natural way for a while. I'm going to give it a week, and if it doesn't get any better and it gets worse, then I will do the root canal. I always do this. But I was really tempted for a while to not even go throughout the full week because there was times where it got really bad. And so I just wanted to share some of the things that I did that at the end of the week, I didn't need to get a root canal, and my gums feel so much better, and it's not pulsating, there's no toothache, nothing, and the continued care that I'm continuing to do with it. So I wanted to share with you. One is obviously if you're not flossing, you need to floss. But the gold mine thing that I got as a tip, oh my gosh, this is worth thousands of dollars, like literally. Because I knew when I went into the dentist, I was like, look, I just have food stuck up in my gums. I know it because I've been flossing and I can feel it. It's in there, but I can't get it with my floss. Like, don't you have like some kind of special dental tool to get this out? And he was like, no. And I was just like, ah. And so when I was, right before I was leaving, the nurse was like, hey, I want to give you another tip, because I kept like emphasizing. I was like, I know I can get it out. It's just the floss. I can't get the floss isn't enough. She was like, add knots into your floss. And she was like, literally, like, she's like, you have to do a knot. And she's like, and if one knot's not enough, do two. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So as soon as I went home and I did it, that finally did it. I was finally able to do it. I had to go up to like 3 knots, like crazy. Like, that's how much of a gap was in there, all up into my tooth. And I was finally able to get it out. But it was still pain. Like, there was still throbbing pain. But I knew it was so much better because I was getting so much more of the food out, which is that's the root of the issue, right? And so another tip I just want to give you sometimes with flossing is always try to, especially if you know like your tooth is not so great, always floss twice, no matter what. Because even first time when I like go into an area, there won't be anything. You might think, oh, this tooth's totally fine, but no matter what, go for a second time and I'll find something. So I highly recommend flossing twice. And then especially if you find something with food or whatever crap in there, always go, keep going until it's totally clean. And I go until it's totally clean, like maybe like 2 or 3 times. I'll do it extra until it's like clean for 2 or 3 times. Then I'm like, okay, this tooth is finally good. So those are my tips in regards to floss. Then the second thing that I would do is I would oil pull. And I used to oil pull with coconut oil, and then I stopped for a while, and oh boy, did I get back to oil pulling like crazy. And I read somewhere that actually sesame oil might be a little bit better and stronger at it or something. So I got sesame oil and I would do it several times throughout the day, especially after eating. I would floss, and then I would rinse out. Okay, after eating, I would rinse out with water, then I would floss, and then I would do oil pulling as much as I could, because sometimes, you're enjoying your day or whatever and you couldn't, but I would at least do oil pulling 2 or 3 times a day. And I would try to go up to 20 minutes every single time, or at minimum 5 to 10 minutes. And one of the things that I even like to do is I would have multiple bottles. So I would have one in my car, and then I would have one in my house, like by the sink and stuff like that. Because as soon as I was even in the car, like even if it wasn't after eating, but just to get a rinse in because it helps pull toxins, I would just be driving. And if I knew my drive was like a 20-minute drive or a 15-minute drive, I would gulp some sesame oil and then just, swish it around really hard. And, take breaks. Like, it's actually pretty tiring. Take a bit of break and then, like, swish some more, like, throughout that whole ride. And I also wanted to share another product for oil pulling that might be even better than just pure, like, sesame oil or coconut, is Dale Audrey has this oil pulling rinse. And I like it because she adds herbs. And so one of them being neem oil, which is really just neem is supposed to be really good to help with that. And also like clove oil is supposed to be really good as well. So she adds these extra stuff in there. So I highly recommend that. You can actually get this off of Amazon. So I'll put it on there. You can get it directly from her website, whichever you want to do. I'll put links so you can find it. So I would do both of this and just regular sesame oil, just because I felt like maybe just pure sesame oil is better. That's how they used to do in the old school way. Who knows, right? And the third thing that I would do is And I didn't do this until a couple days later because I didn't have salt on me. I was like traveling and whatever. And so is sea salt. And so a lot of people do the gargling with sea salt water, but I took it a step further and I actually would place it in my hand and then put it on my finger, and I would literally apply it directly on my gums everywhere, and especially the area that was like messed up. I would like pound it on and pack it on so much sea salt. Make sure it's sea salt too because it has minerals and you need all of that in there. And so after I would pack it on, top, bottom, down here, and up here too, everywhere I would put it on there. And then I would grab, then I would take warm water and then gargle for a few minutes. So I would typically only do that morning and evenings, and you know, but honestly, like, dude, add in more whenever. So those were my top 3 things that I did that over a week period finally had non-hurting gums, and it feels amazing. I can't even imagine that I was in the shoes that I was in before. And so it's not like the quick fix easy button. You know, I could have gone in and got the root canal and, you know, the next day, or he said like literally after having the surgery, you will feel like amazing and great. So I could have done it that day, you know, or the next day at max, but literally take those extra couple days and you'll save yourself thousands of dollars, and and you don't have to rip out unnecessary nerves. And yeah, and then your teeth are going to be totally fine. And I still do it now, even when the pain is gone. Granted, I might not be as quick because before I used to do it like immediately after eating. It's so funny how pain will make you do things like that versus if when the pain's gone, I'm like, nah, I'll be a little bit lazier with that. But I still, like, at minimum, will floss twice a day and at minimum do oil pulling once a day. But I still, and the sea salt thing, I do twice a day still. So I still do that consistently, and I hope this helps you. If you're in the same situation where you have a filling fall out and you have a huger gap and there's food getting stuck up in there and you're getting an infection or whatever, you don't need to get a filling. You can if you want, but I'm going to try this route and I'll report back to you guys how it is. I feel like I'm noticing a difference already because, I don't know, maybe it's already starting to build back up again, and maybe I'm just going crazy, but I feel like it's not as big as a gap as it used to be. And so there you have it. Floss like crazy, add those knots in, do multiple times flossing because you might have things in there that you missed the first time around. Definitely do oil pulling. Go up to 20 minutes or longer. You know, you want to get all those toxins out. And then third, definitely use the sea salt and do the gargle with that to help kill the bacteria as well. And there you have it. I would love to hear what other things you might have done to help naturally get rid of some toothache and pain and infection so that you didn't have to get a root canal, or that, you know, to just kill infection in general. And I would also like to hear if you have any other questions about it. I'm not an expert, but maybe I can try to help you as best as I can, or try to direct you somewhere else. You can leave it below in the YouTube comments, or you can write to me at connect@jennycleary.net. Once again, that's connect@jennycleary.net. And last but not least, like this video and please share it and let other people know who's having some tooth issues that they don't need to get a root canal. There's other ways of doing it if this is the case scenario. All right, so thank you and talk to you guys soon. Bye.